Baby. I need to find a spot for this bad boy.
Hey guys, we're live, and Chris will be joining us shortly. There you go. You can't blame Chris. He only knew for about 24 hours that we were gonna do this at 9.
Yeah.
It's like you can't blame him for not being ready. Okay, what can you see? Okay, you can see our board. Okay, yeah. So let me take a little sip.
I'm gonna hold my cards then.
Yeah, we're not gonna play right now.
No.
We're in the middle of a game,
Want
actually.
to.
So I just put the board over here. I gotta turn on my phone so I get my notes so we can discuss things in order. And Brittany,
Yes.
see Brittany over here, she is going to be relaying your comments. Can you guys hear us okay? Any comments? What do we got here? All right. Oh, hey, Dustin, you stayed up. Welcome. Brittany will let me know next time. Let me know if any cool comments come in from Dustin. He's the man. Actually, Dustin won our contest. He won our, was it True Fang? The True Fang
Yeah,
contest.
I think it's True Fang.
Well done, Dustin. Okay, we're going to put that, if you could hold that right there. Like, could you, hold on. Right. Oh, perfect. Okay, so Brittany will be handling the conversation.
He should be in front of my laptop.
No, we're good.
Yeah. That's where it was. It kind of made sense. He's like, Chris is there.
Oh, Jesus, fine. There you go. Well, you can't see it because Brittany's tucked in the corner. Okay, anyways, we got this set in.
My Magic DC laptop.
Okay, so my phone keeps turning off. I'm sorry. So here's the deal.
Oh.
Not you.
You guys done? All right. So here's the deal. We've never played this before. We played this tonight, and I'm wearing my shirt inside. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so yeah, we've never played this before. We just cracked this open, threw it on the table tonight, and the plan was to get through at least one scenario before we talk to you guys. That didn't happen. This is still scenario 1. So here's a note. Your first game is going to take a while just because there's so many cards on the table, and everybody's going to be like, what am I playing? What is that? What is that? What is that? +2 power. Like, what does everything do? So, yeah, so there's that.
You want to know how to spend your money. You want to know how to spend that power.
That power. So, but once we start picking up, then we start recognizing kind of like keywords to look for. It's like, okay, that's a defense card that gives me 3 power. Like there are some key cards or keywords to look for that really help. So the game's speeding up, but we didn't even get through one scenario. And we started playing this around 10 to 7, something like that.
Yeah.
7 o'clock. It took us a while to set up.
So yeah.
Yeah. So about 7 o'clock. We were supposed to start at 6. So we've been playing this for 2 hours and we haven't finished. But now I don't think this would normally take 2 hours. I think once you know how to play, you just be throwing it down. So I'm assuming you guys are interested in Rebirth. There it is. Now, I don't know how many of you guys played I don't know if you've played any of the other DC deck building games. Note, I think the crew, the Board Game Coffee crew will agree with me. This is the worst title for a game. Rebirth isn't bad. Like they're trying Rebirth, but the original was called DC Deck Building Game. That was it. Right? It came out alongside like Marvel Legendary, which sounded like epic and legendary. It was in big. And I was like, oh, like literally when I saw the original box, not this one, when I saw the original box, I picked it up and it said DC Deck Building Game. I was like, okay, cool. What's this? What's it called? Like, I was like, that's not the title, right? No, yes. What's the title? Okay. That's our history. So we've all played the DC Deck Building Game, the basic one. And we've played a lot of expansions for it. But mind you, it's been a while. So I think I have a better memory of it than these two do. And I think it's not because I've played it just as long. Like, I think last time I played it was with you. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
But I've played it a lot.
It was a late night session. I want to say it was probably like 2, 3 in the morning, and you were teaching me a lot of games at that time. And but I do kind of remember though. I do enjoy that.
So we enjoyed it. So we picked it up. But we'll talk about kind of like comparisons as we go. So what we like to start off with is the gist. So the gist of the DC deck building game, Rebirth, is, okay, let's see where to start. Okay. So you know what? Let me get some. Oh, I'm gonna need some props.
Let's go. We get the props.
All right. So in this game, you get these things. You get these little packs, right? And they're scenario packs. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, is this a legacy game? No, it's not. Because once you finish your scenario, you're actually supposed to put the cards back in the pack so you can play it again. So they're resealable, by the way. If you notice, they're like sticky, and then you just seal them right up again. So you get 8 scenarios in this box. And the way it works is it's a deck building game. So put that over there within reach. It's a deck building game. So it's got your basic deck building rules where everybody starts with the same basic deck. In this case, it's like 6 power cards, 3 move cards, and 1 assist card. And I think I have a section about what's different. I do have a section, so we'll say that for later. What's different from this to the...
He doesn't come with a pack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
This guy
yeah.
doesn't come with... This is from 5 Minute Dungeon.
Yeah.
But one of the things we notice, and this I'll talk about this in the gameplay, or like one of the criticisms I have, is it's hard to tell, especially as a new player, to recognize, or a first-time player, what is a villain, like if the villains are on the board, because there's a lot of things that depend on, are there villains on the board? So every time, instead of us checking every time there's any villains on the board that we might have forgotten about, we just got this guy, and we decided when there's a villain on the board, we're going to keep him here. And when there's no villains on the board, we'll move him aside. Since a villain showed up, we've never taken him off. He's been there ever since. So, anyways, so the gist of the game. Deck building game, everybody starts with their basic deck, and you use, here's some of your starter cards. So you get this, so you can, there you go. So that's your move cards and your power cards. So you see power +1. And then you get, everybody gets the same thing, and then you get the other 1 card that's different that you get is, bam! You get this, which is a helping hand. It's an assist card. Now, assist is a new mechanic from this game compared to the other DC deck building games. I just
I like that aspect, by the way. It's kind of neat the way they've changed that and how you get to do that.
Mental note, I just took my cards and mixed them in, so I'm going to have to shuffle that and do that again. So, because we are in the middle of a game here. This isn't propped up. This is our game, and I just messed up my hand. That's okay. It's okay. We'll fix it. I'll just fix that right now. So, anyways, you use your power cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a hand of 5 cards, by the way. You use your power cards to buy these cards, or any cards. Anything with this coin in the corner, you can buy. Now, if it's not a villain or a super villain, it goes into your deck. So, hence the deck building. Villains and super villains, at least in this version of the game, get discarded or put in this pile. They're gone. In scenario 1, supervillains actually count toward your win scenario, where you have to beat 5 supervillains, and there's actually 8 in this deck. So, and they're spread out. If you've played Pandemic, you know how you have to, like, when you start Pandemic, you have to like start your cards, shuffle them into piles, and put the epidemics in there. It's like that. You make 5 piles, and then you equally distribute the 2 villains in each pile, and you shuffle up that pile, and then you stack them in a specific order. That way the game is well paced, and you don't get 5 villains as the first cards, because you'd be screwed. You would just lose. So that was good. So anyways, you use your power cards to buy those cards. Now, what's different from this game from the other DC game is that you can't just pick up whatever you see, or a lot of deck building games, you just pick up what you see. In this game, you have these things, which are your little representations of your character. So I had Simon Baz. I'm not familiar with the Rebirth storyline. I've read the New 52, but this is like them altering the New 52, and I'm not familiar with all the characters. And I didn't read a lot of Green Lantern. So anyways, you get these guys, and you have to move them around the board with your move points. And the board is circular, so it's either clockwise or counterclockwise, the way you move. And you have to be on a space that has the cards that you want to buy. So there's that. Now the spaces basically, you actually add a card every space, every turn. I mean, now the spaces are basically, you got 5 spaces that are basic cards, and then you got 5 spaces that are these location cards. And location cards, this one has an effect. You see at the bottom, I don't know if you can read it. It says, I'll read it to you. Pay 2 power, move target villain 1 space toward this space. So that's Arkham Asylum. So if you pay 2 power, you draw people into Arkham Asylum, which is helpful. Because what villains are trying to do, when you bring out a villain, villains have these numbers on the right here. See this number 3? That coincides with these numbers that are on the locations. So when you bring out a villain, they're trying to make their way over to that location. And once they do, they attack every turn. Normally they attack, they attack the active player every turn. Normally you have to be on the space with the villain to get attacked. So it's like you're actually tussling with them. But if they actually reach their destination, then they're attacking every turn. So that's bad. So you want to try to stop them from reaching their destination. That's a huge change. You also get these secret cards. Now, I'm not showing you what the secret card is. I don't even know what the secret card is. I'm not even sure how to get it. I think when the game ends, we get it, but I'm not sure what it says. So we're going to have to wait. Another thing. So yeah, it's a deck building. I'm trying to think we've covered. The locations take damage, and if any location takes 5 damage, it no longer does what that location does. Some locations have specific cards on them. Like if you go to City Hall, they all have flight cards on them. They have 5. There's only 2 left. So I think Brittany's bought 2. I've bought 1. Chris has bought none. He likes to just buy jetpacks because he's playing Batman. Yeah, Brittany's playing. He's Batman, Superman, and I'm playing Simon Baz. And the way
I felt like I had to play Superman, and it got dealt to me. So I was like,
I think
yes.
you should have. Well, she got dealt Superman and Cyborg. And she chose Cyborg first, and then she guilted herself into choosing Superman. I got Simon Baz and Penelope Cruz. I can't remember her name. It's not Penelope Cruz. It's another female Green Lantern. Again, I don't know her. Oh, Jessica Cruz. I wasn't that far off. She's probably related to Penelope Cruz. So, and all your superheroes have special abilities. Like Simon is, if I play 3 cards of 3 different types, I get to draw an extra card or move a character. And Batman is, if he defeats a villain or avoids an attack, he draws a card. And Superman gets more powerful the more villains are on their space.
I think it was gets to discard a card or destroy a card if you want.
Oh, you get to look and destroy a card?
Yes.
Oh, so he gets to call his
target
deck.
player gets to reveal a top card and destroy it.
Yeah, you'll notice a lot of cards in this game will say target player. So it's all about kind of helping each other. Oh, and there's 2 modes in this. There's cooperative and competitive. We're playing cooperative. And you get this track. Remind me, this is on 2. So you get this track, and every time it's a threat track. Every time a supervillain comes up, you move this little thing, you up the track. And then the threat level gets higher and higher. And everything that's in red text, which you won't be able to read. I'm not even bringing close. I doubt you can read that. Anyways. They all have ongoing effects, and they're all bad. It's not like this thing ever goes up and it's like, everybody gets ice cream. That never happens. It's more like Lex Luthor takes a dump in your ice cream. Like nothing good happens when that thing goes up. And I think, so yeah, deck building, going around, defeat the villains. You got a bunch of scenarios. Each scenario is different. We've only played the first one. Don't know what the other one is. In this one, we have to defeat 5 supervillains. So far, we've only defeated 2, but I think actually we're doing pretty good considering how slow we're moving. But I think we got this one in the bag. We got like 3 in the bag.
I don't know.
No, because like
at the beginning, I was like,
we had an 11.
I feel like we have this under control, and then all of a sudden, it got bad, and it got bad real fast, and then I felt like we were having a hard time keeping up.
No, we got this.
I want to see what the other villains are like.
See, I don't know what the villains are. I haven't checked the
That
villains.
11 came out, and I was like, what?
We got General Zod, who's an 11, and we got Doomsday, who's an 8. Now, some of you are probably thinking,
What does that
why
mean?
is Doomsday an 8 and General Zod an 11? Yeah. But the thing with Doomsday is he's just destroys locations like they're piñatas, and it's his birthday, and he really wants the candy. So he does a lot of damage. Bonus is you just destroy him, you can fix all the damage on one location. Now, Zod, he gives you weaknesses, so his attack isn't as bad, but he's really hard to kill, so it happens more often. So Doomsday is easier to kill, but his attacks are more severe. Zod, not as hard to kill. His attacks are not as severe, but they happen more often. Because he's going to be around longer. That's why they happen more often. So, So that's the gist. And Brittany, as Superman, took out Doomsday, which I thought was appropriate. I, as Simon Baz, the Green Lantern, this is Simon Baz, by the way, I took out General Zod. Chris poured me a beer. So Chris is doing his part.
I've taken out some villains. I've taken out the little minions.
Yeah, like he's taking them out for ice cream. That's where the ice cream comes in.
Okay,
Come on, guys.
They may have partied in the end.
No, hold on. First of all, let's go into a little story. Batman
Had one job.
Was Batman do not let Doomsday get to his location. Here's the thing. All you have to do to stop a villain from leaving is just take your little cardboard bit, park it on their card. They can't go. As long as you don't move, they can't move. Now, Doomsday was one space away from his destination, which oddly enough, actually, was the Batcave. So Doomsday headed in for Batman. So, and he was right next to the Batcave.
Like good peeps.
Batman stopped him. He was on there. I was like, excellent, Chris. That's all you got to do. You just got to sit on Doomsday. Do not let him trash the place. We're good, right? And so...
I did it around.
Yeah. Chris, first thing he does is like jump off of Doomsday. And then so he runs into the Batcave and practically opens the door and invites him in for a beer. Come on in.
He looked like good peeps.
So next turn, Doomsday walks into the Batcave and just starts hammering on Wayne Manor. Like it's not going well. Thanks, Chris. So all of a sudden we had to go into like red alert mode and fly Superman over there to destroy things.
I got distracted. There were shiny cards. I'm like, ooh, I get more power here. I get more power. And I got distracted.
You know what? The thing is, Chris has a little card, right? And he was like, you know what? I'm going to go there. Oh, no. Damn. I should have gone here. No, I'm good. You know what? I'm going back to the back. And then that was the end of the story. And then Doomsday walked in and it was over. So... I think we got past the gist and into ragging on Chris. Oh, there's also these stories. So every scenario gets a card like this, which is a setup card, which gives you a story, and it tells you how to set up your locations, how to set up your threat track and your main deck, etc., etc. When that comes in those little resealable black packs I showed you. And I think that's it. So, oh yeah, and even though there's one threat track board, you get, hold on, you get these things. You got to pick those up before I hit you with some. Hold on. 1 second. Hitches our dog, if you're new to the channel.
Yeah, and if you hear him walking around, just
see me moving
ignore
around.
him.
Hold on. Just 1 second. Let it drop. You got it? Oh, you got it.
He gets just excited for
Where
board
did that
games
come
as we
from?
do.
Okay, so I have picking up heroes, all kinds. So you get quite a few heroes to choose from. I think you get, how many heroes you get? Your hero selection in this game are Aquaman, Batman, Cyborg, The Flash, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, Superman, and Wonder Woman. The only two characters I don't know in there are Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz. And those are the two characters I got to choose from. Whatever.
There was one thing you didn't mention about the game when you were talking about the damage on the cities and doing the campaign mode, is that it carries over.
Oh, yeah. So, when we get to gameplay, we'll discuss that. Oh, yeah,
Gotcha.
but I guess to give you the gist, also as you go through, as we recorded, Chris is Batman, I'm Simon Jazz, and Britt is Superman. So you get these, you don't get these sheets, actually. I just printed these out. This is like, they're on the back of the book, and they say you have permission to print them. So I just downloaded the PDF from their site and printed them out. But it is a campaign game. So the idea is, and that's the key point, is you get 2 attempts at each level. If you fail twice, you're supposed to pack it in and move on to the next scenario, and you mark your fail. So there are certain things that happen. You can gain signature cards, which are cards that are specific to your hero. So like this one, only Batman would get. And there's 3 cards for everyone. They're signature cards. And if you accomplish your mission or accomplish the goal, which I think in the first mission is if we win this, we all get our first signature card. So you'd indicate it here. And then your locations, if they take damage, you mark it here, because I think if I have to double check this in the rules, but I'm pretty sure it's right. Location damage is persistent, so it goes from one scenario to the next. And yeah, you get 2 attempts per, and then you add up a score at the end. And then when you do that, you just try to beat yourself, and it'll like say major victory, partial victory, what is this? And defeat. Pyrrhic
I
victory?
don't know that word.
I don't know what a Pyrrhic victory is. Anyways, so there's that. I think that gives you a good sense of how the game works. There's different ways, you defeat villains, you stop them from moving, you move things around, and you buy cards to make your decks more powerful. That's the gist. So now,
So we have some conversations going on.
we have some conversations.
Yeah. So the first question came from Kyle.
Sorry, one thing I forgot. I brought these up for one thing. One thing I could say. This track, I started talking about this and I got sidetracked, is you have these things that the setup card will tell you, and it actually goes, you can see it here, it goes on top of your track and replaces what's there or adds to it. It'll tell you whether it replaces it or adds to it. So basically, your threats can change or get worse or double up. So that's how it changes the threat track. Okay, go.
Okay. So I think we've solved this one online, but we're going to mention it just in case some people haven't read what's going on in this thread. So Kyle asked the question, is there a reason his card is called Simon Baz and not just Green Lantern? And then Dustin came back and said it could be because there's several Green Lanterns.
Correct, because Jessica Cruz is also a Green Lantern. And that's another thing. It's like, I'm kind of bummed out they don't have green, like Kyle Reiner or Hal Jordan. Like, Hal Jordan is he's probably the most popular of the Green Lanterns. He's actually on the box. But he's not a playable hero. So, yeah, there's multiple Green Lanterns. They're all called Green Lanterns. So, so that's the easy answer.
Kyle says expansions. Wait for the expansions.
Yeah. Look, all the Green Lanterns they have on here, they have, I can't remember what, the guy from the Mosaic Comics, what he's called. Oh, they have Simon Baz and Jessica here. But they have Guy Gardner here, they have Hal Jordan. I don't see Kyle Reiner. Kyle Reiner, he's my Green Lantern. I like Kyle. I've been following him because I was actually, when I was reading comics, like when I was really into the DC universe, that's when Kyle came around and got his power. That's when Hal Jordan went crazy. That was a cool story, by the way. Okay. That was
one of the questions, Dustin asked the question, is this soloable? Which, can you play this one player? And it actually says it's 1 to 4 players. So we haven't explored that.
There's a section about solo. And the only thing I know, because I just glanced at it, I didn't read it, but there's a section here that explains how solo works. And the one thing I do know is your assist cards. Oh, that's one big thing. Assist cards allows you to play cards on other people's turns that assists them. So they'll have a range on it. So like range 0 to 3 or whatever. So if you assist somebody, they get to utilize the text on the card. That's new. In solo mode, apparently, I think you get to put an assist card down on a character and then use it later or something like that. But there's instructions here. I did not read it because I don't know if I'll get a chance to play this game solo. Because I have certain games that I have to play solo because they're solo games. Like, what was it, Unbroken? Whatever that was. So, anyways.
Terraforming Mars, you can play solo.
Well, not games you can play solo. Games you have to play solo.
Oh.
Like Unbroken, I think is solo only. So if I'm gonna play a solo game,
it is.
I'm gonna play that one. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. So now let's
Just
go.
thank yous.
You're welcome. Okay. Now that was our game in brief. First topic is we're gonna talk about the components, and we're gonna let Chris, the master of chat. You just can't shut this guy up. Talk about components while I sip on my beer. Before you start, just so that you know,
No pressure.
we're drinking. I'm drinking cracked canoe today.
This was sponsored by.
It was not.
It was not.
But if they do, you know where to find us. I'm drinking it out of a steam whistle glass, so let me just turn that around.
It's so bad. Yeah.
Okay, go, Chris. Components. What do you think of the components?
Don't mind them. I do prefer if I'm doing a deck builder and I'm going through cities and towns and doing these different areas, I kind of prefer having a board where you can actually see, because I find here we've got the cards on top, and every time we do a round, we've got to add more cards, more villains, whatever it is from that deck onto them. It becomes too much, and you can't see where you're at. You kind of lose the whole visual of the actual city or area that you're in. I find you kind of lose it that way, where I like to kind of see the board or something.
I find it gets because you're talking about like in Legendary, right? In Legendary, there's a board, yes, and the cards play, and there's always those same amount of cards on the board, and they push each other off, right? Yes. And then they escape. Or in this case, they kind of just all pile up on top of each other. So it is hard to read.
Yes.
It
I
seems,
don't-
it
yeah.
seems messy.
Yes. I don't
Yeah.
mind a pile because you can still get to the ones below, but yeah, it's very.
Because like right now we only have 4. I think the most we had 4 cards on one stack. I think that's when I blew them over with a card. That's what I used. Oh, she bought it.
Yeah.
It was an error. We had to backtrack.
I like the ideas that it's stacked because if you don't have the opportunity to buy it at one time, you can kind of like look through it and be like, oh, I can afford this one, but maybe not the other one. Which I like that, but I would agree with you too. I feel like it's messy at times. Like I get lost in the noise of the board.
All right. Well, as far as components go, I feel like since we're on top of components, I don't remember. I guess they are. They probably are. I don't remember the cards being so thin. They feel really thin.
They do feel thin. I will admit they do feel thin.
So the artwork is great.
I
Yeah.
don't think they're that bad. I mean, they're thin,
They
but
feel really thin.
they feel like regular cards.
The artwork is great, but inconsistent because the artwork isn't original artwork, as in like Marvel Legendary. They use original artwork, but I'm not a huge fan of the Marvel Legendary artwork. I much prefer this artwork, but it's the DC artwork. It is much better, but it's just taken from different comics, which a bunch of different artists all kind of meshed in there. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that because one thing we get from the DC game versus the Marvel one is you get a lot more variety. There's a lot more pictures because they don't have to commission people to draw all these. They already have this.
Yeah.
They already have all this art. So they just put it out there. So you get a lot of cool imagery on the cards because they have all their great art from all their artists and they can put whatever they want on their cards and it's bam. And it's great. As far as components go, the cardboard bits are fine. They feel fine. These things, now, I can see these drive the cost down, but I would absolutely love superhero minis. Now, Batman minis, we have a whole game, tons of Batman minis.
We could just put them
There you
in.
Yeah,
go.
no, but there's no Superman in there, and there's no Green Lantern in there. Like, so there's a lot of characters that aren't in there, right? They're all the Batman universe characters.
Yeah.
So, but I would love to have like a Superman mini. Like that would be awesome. And you know what? There's not that many minis in the game.
They want the minis.
Yeah, the board and the minis would be great. And I think I'd like, you know what? There's not that many. If there's not that many minis, you can get them like a decent size. You know, just make them a little bigger than your regular minis because you don't need 100, right? You just need like it's like
that size.
how many guys are the count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 minis. It's not a big deal, right? And then you put an expansion pack, so it's a big deal. You stick 1 or 2 minis in the expansion pack. Easy peasy. You know, Cryptozoic, you're welcome for that idea. Thanks. That's from Boarding and Coffee and their and our watchers, our viewers.
Well, and there's some people saying that it could be a great expansion to have the mats. And I was like, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Thinking.
I think that would be great. I do think one of the positives about not having a mat is I think that this game will be easy to travel with. Obviously not with this giant box. You would have to put it in like a small little travel bag. But I think you could actually travel with this. I'm not saying this would be a great board game for like a plane.
Well, you can play this on a plane.
But you can play this at your destination wherever you get it, and it would be quite easy. It would be light.
Yeah, you can take it out of this. Yeah, that's right. You can take it
Like
out of
you
the
could
box.
take it out of this and get like a little bags. Like that's what we do when we travel. We take a whole bunch of different games. We put them in little mini bags and we travel with them.
But other than components, they're very simple. It's just cards and cardboard. So, but you know what? It kept the price down.
Yeah.
So that's something. But I'd love because like I don't have a Superman mini or a Green Lantern mini. Like I want a Justice League mini. That'd be awesome, right? Like that'd be cool. There are like
These are Funkos.
it's not the same.
I know it's not the same, but it's what we have.
All right, so that's it for components. But yeah, some of the artwork, I'd love some of the artwork. Some of the artwork is it's great.
I think
Mike G is saying hero clicks.
Yeah, hey, I have lots of hero clicks. I have lots of them. I was big into hero clicks, and then I fell out. And then I tried to get back in, and I don't remember why I liked it so much, but I really did. I gotta try it again someday. Not now. But hero clicks, those are not painted well. If you guys played a hero click, like an eye is about this big, and this one is like up here in the back of his head somewhere. They're not good. Okay. I made notes about standees, boards, and cards. We discussed all that, so we're good. We'd all like a board. We'd like minis, so it'd be cool. But as far it's functional though.
Oh, absolutely.
It's definitely functional for how it goes. All right, so now we're into gameplay, balance, etc. Now I broke it up into categories so we can fix it. We can focus on those.
We can fix it.
Fix it. So we can focus on those. So
Well, first thing Brittany didn't say, the mechanics are wrong. It's all messed up. I quit. It's all screwed up. And then win the game afterwards. Anyways.
oh yeah, she.
Yeah.
Brittany likes to complain that things are unfair instantly.
They usually are.
They're unfair and
Just
unbalanced.
Unfair
instantly.
mechanics.
It's unfair.
And
It's
I
unfair.
take advantage
It's
of it,
unbalanced.
and I beat
And
you
then
guys.
unbalanced.
you're saying because you think we're gonna win, and then all of a sudden you win. No.
Whatever.
It's funny when she tries to stick to her guns. This is unfair. If she gets seriously angry, this is unfair. This is unfair. And then if she wins, well, I still think it's unfair. Like the tone totally changes. It's still not fair.
Justin says I should hit you guys with my laser eyes. Believe me, I've tried.
I think the evil eye. She hits me with the evil eye daily.
I do like the whip. Look at you. It
You like
doesn't
the
work.
whip?
No, like whip.
This is a family friendly show.
No,
What is
like,
going on?
Oh my god! You guys
We
are the
lost
worst.
Chris.
You guys are the worst.
Hey, so if you guys see Chris sneaking away, he's taking a sip of his drink. He's trying to hide it, but we're telling you.
I'm underage.
But
I'm underage. City gray.
okay, so gameplay. Now we can tackle this in any way you want. Now I made notes in no particular order, so I'm just going to throw these words out here, just to trigger things for you. And those cues are scenarios, learning curve. How did you feel about the co-op? And actually, the last one I'll save separate.
Okay.
So scenarios, learning curve, how do you feel with the co-op? Let's tackle those in any order you want. Like, what do you think of the
Let's do
scenarios?
scenarios.
Bree's got something right here.
Well, I was gonna say I like the fact that it's like a campaign. That if you don't beat it, you have to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And that you only get 2 tries.
Yeah,
That makes me feel like I know it's a co-op. Like we're playing it co-op, but it makes me feel competitive against the board. Like I want to crush the board.
and yeah, as far as scenarios go, I like these little black packs.
Yeah.
I like the mystery
Yeah.
of what's in
Yeah.
what's like.
And like this little secret card. I don't know what it is, but I can't wait to flip it.
Yeah, I want to know what that secret card is.
I don't even know.
And these packs, like pack 8 is stacked. There's a lot. I know what's in here, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
Like some of these packs are like super thin. Like what this pack 3 is like one maybe 2 cards in here. Like there's not a lot in here, and we're not peeking ahead. But I like the idea of the mystery. Oh, I don't know what's coming up.
Yeah.
So although I like that, we haven't seen any of these,
Mhm.
so these might all be crap. But I don't know.
Did you talk about the secret card earlier?
Yeah, I mentioned
Okay.
that. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it
so
came-
there's just like this black.
Yeah, all that came in the
card.
first pack were these 2 cards, which was a setup card and 1 secret card, and that was it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll find out what that secret card is eventually. So as far as the scenarios go, I think there's potential in scenarios,
Mhm.
and I like that there's potential for expansions with the scenarios, right? Because you can just give me all kinds of expansions, have new scenarios, and that'll be great. And the idea of carrying on,
Yeah.
like the damage from the buildings carry on. If you earn a signature card, those carry on.
It makes it feel hard.
Yeah, and there's this one thing, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet because we haven't done it yet, because we haven't passed the first scenario, is
Maybe it's too.
when we build our deck, we have to reset our deck.
That I'm still struggling with.
So
I like planning for the future and like holding a card and then keeps like stacking.
but in all fairness, like how long this goes, your deck could probably be this high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you give a bunch of cards. You know what I'd almost like? You guys haven't played this yet, but like I don't know if you have, is in Mice and Mystics, when you go from, it's a totally different type of game. It's like an adventure game with little minis. But when you go from one campaign to the other, you get a bunch of cards with abilities and special things. And there's a limitation of how much you can take. So you have to pick and choose. You have to be like, okay, I keep this and this and this, and that's it. I have to get rid of everything else I have. So I think that would be cool if something like this was like, okay, you can only keep 3 cards or 2 cards or whatever from your deck to carry on with you.
Yeah.
Everything else you have to shuffle back in. I think I like that. I think that would be a cool setup. It would feel like what I did, how I grew as a character, would carry on. Right now, the only thing that carries on with me is the signature cards, and there's only 3 per character. And it seems like the more things that carry through with you are your losses and damage to buildings. So it feels like there's more negative things that carry through with you from one campaign to the next than positive things. But we haven't experienced that yet. So this is just me kind of trying to foresee into the future based on our experience so far.
I agree, because that's what I kind of saw from the sheet too, and what we were talking about. Well, we carry those over. Why aren't we carrying us over? You know, sure, we have the signature cards, but it's only like 3 of them. So
Yeah. So it'd be nice if we get to keep some cards, because I understand not being able to take everything, but if you could just take, like, every player takes 3 new cards.
Yeah.
And then, scenario 2, okay, you take 5 cards, or then next year you take 7 cards, or whatever. You just keep adding cards to how many you can take over.
Yeah.
That would be neat, because then you can start, by the end, your deck could be tweaked, right? And then you could really up the challenge.
Yeah.
Right? Just have like crazy challenges.
I think that's also what makes it addictive, right? Because you're stacking onto your cards, you're getting more powerful,
Yeah.
you're getting that engine going. So having to reset every time is.
Can you guys hear Brittany all right? I just want to make sure, because the camera's pretty far from Brittany. I just want to make sure they can hear you.
oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yes, this is live. Hi, Jeffrey. So Jeffrey asked the question, like Arkham Horror card game.
Confession?
I haven't played that. I actually don't know.
I bought Arkham Horror the moment I saw it. I bought the card game. Is it on the shelf? No, it's in the closet. I bought it the moment I saw it. I bought it, and I got to work during my break. And I was like, I'm gonna read this rule book, and I opened it. I got a few pages in. I was like, I'll finish this at home, and I never opened it again. So when was Arkham released? It was that year till now. So
that's helpful.
so I don't know. No, it just reminded me of that story. I have Arkham Horror, but I've never played it, so I don't know. I can't tell you. I'd like to. I want to play it. All I hear is good things about it. I think Brittany will like it.
So Jeffrey said you described building a character from play to play. It reminds him of that game.
Yeah, well, that's probably why everybody praises that game, because I've heard a lot of good things about the Arkham Horror card game. Well, this game's too new to hear a lot of good things or bad things about it yet. So, all right. Next in the category is the learning curve. What did you feel learning this game? What did you think?
Not very difficult at all. It was more just starting to learn the cards, right? So you're wasting a lot of time. Oh, what's that card do again? I'll read that card again. And until we get used to what the cards are and what they do, that was pretty much it. Like, it's your average deck builder. A little bit of difficulty with the assist because that's new. So I admitted that was kind of causing some issues there, but I really didn't see that big of a problem.
Yeah,
I think if you've played the DC deck builder, this will be very easy for you to catch on.
Yeah, it is. It uses a lot of the same rules.
And if you've played a deck builder before, then I think that it would still be easy for you to catch on because it has the same principles.
Yeah, and they definitely, I think when they wrote the rule book, I think they kind of took into account that some people would play the original deck builder or deck building game, because I don't think in the rule book, although I haven't drawn an ongoing card effect yet, I don't think they explain how to use the ongoing cards. That doesn't matter. I don't think they explain how to use that in the rule book. I only mention that because I watched some videos of people playing, and they mentioned that the ongoing card wasn't mentioned in the rule book, like how the ongoing effect works.
Oh.
I think it talks about it as far as the threat track works. So I assume it would just work. But I know that from playing the other deck building game. But they didn't specifically call out if your card says ongoing, it does this. They didn't do that. But yeah, I agree. Learning it for me, because I played the original deck building game, not difficult. The assist card, teaching the assist card seemed to be the most difficult thing. And because the assist cards, I think my problem was I tried to explain it the way it's explained in the rule book. And I think it's better to just say that you get to use all the abilities on the card. If it says assist, you can let somebody else use the abilities on the card on your turn, as long as they're within the assist range. And that's it. That's the simplest way to look at it. But other than that, the game's simple to learn. The only thing is, like Chris mentioned, is you have to get to know the cards, and then the game will start going. Right now, we're reading everything.
We're learning them all,
And then we're also having trouble because it's new. There's a lot to keep track of. Is there a villain?
Stacked too, so it becomes almost like that
What was
that mind game where you're flipping over the cards to remember which one's which.
Yeah.
So memory. Thank you.
And this thing is like, you take one of
Clearly,
these-
you need to play more.
well, the thing is, if you take a villain card, right, and you just throw it on this pile, it just kind of blends in.
It does blend it. Well, all the colors are very, very similar.
Well, no, there's orange, red, gray. I don't know
Yeah,
if
but
it's so
I mean,
similar.
well,
But there's
the
so
red
much
and the
noise.
orange, yeah.
There's a lot of noise, right, on the table. So you kind of, it could be, you could miss a villain. So you kind of really, I say it out loud every time we go. Villains on the board, no villains on the board. So I read through the steps.
That's why we have our little figurine.
You know what helps and doesn't help? So they have in the back of the book, they have your faces, right? It's like, there's the steps you take. It actually looks more complicated than it is. And because there's little paragraphs to explain them all. And I found that I kept referring to that just to make sure we didn't screw anything up. But I just made my own list, which is a lot shorter. I even cut out a step because not because we were changing the rules. It's just step 5 is play your cards. And then step 6 in the rule book is like spend your cards, which I kind of count that as one big thing anyways. So like I shortened the turns to turn 1, card effects that start at the beginning of the turn. Turn 2, Villians Attack. Phase 2. Phase 2, Villians Attack. Phase 3, Villains Move. Phase 4, place card. Phase 5, play card. That's how I shortened it, because going through those, I couldn't just glance at it and pick it up. So I found that nice, and I'd like a little reference card. If people could have a reference card of the order, that would be nice. Because one thing we kept doing was, our turn one, we wanted to move and buy things right away,
Want to go
right? Because it's bad habits from the deck building game, right? Because that's how the game's like, oh, it's your turn, buy and go, buy and go, buy and go.
Yeah.
But no, you have to be like, no, stop, wait a minute. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. Right, keep going. But like you have to be like, okay, are any villains on board? Yes. Okay, now the villains attack. Are they attacking anybody? There's just are they on their location? No. Is the active player on that villain? Yes or no. And then now the villains move. So it stutters in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
There's like so there's a lot of that. So I don't know how that's gonna get better. But it is very jarring. It breaks the flow for me because I'm like, I got to do this. It feels like it's like a record skipping. Okay, so
And what we'll do for you is we'll put those in the description below after this video is done, and then you can have it as a reference in the future. Someone had mentioned that someone on BGG probably will have this reference sheet. Like they'll have a downloadable reference sheet. We haven't had the opportunity to look into it, but that's a great idea. We're going to look into it. And then for the meantime, we'll just stick it in the description below for you if you want to take a look at it, or if you have the
it's like once you read the descriptions aren't enough to teach you anything. But once you read the rules once, you're like, all right, I get it. This is when they move. This is when they attack. This is when they move. That's all I need to know, right? Because the game is simple enough that I was like, okay, I know how their moves work. I know how their attacks work. I just need to be reminded which order everything comes in. At least when I first starting, like the first scenario, at least. Next, we're doing so. Yeah, me and Chris have both got a little bit of the burps. That's what we do, drinking beer and going live. All right, so, all right, guys. Now we're competitive people. We like the competitiveness.
I'm not competitive.
This is co-op, and Brittany's a liar. So
straight up.
Brittany's a liar. So we're playing. What do you think of the co-op aspect of this?
I think it's refreshing. I mean, we went into this game and I instantly was like, I want this card, and I was all on the defense.
Yeah, she was very much, I'm buying this, I'm buying this, I'm buying this. It's like, easy, right? Like, we all need good cards. We all win together, we all lose together. But she instantly looked like, I'm buying that. Why? Do you have a problem with me buying that? No, I was like, no, just chill.
It's my
chill down,
card.
chill down.
Then it turned to, I'm going to buy this card because it'll benefit me this way. Right? That benefits all of us. I don't.
It benefits all of us that way. But you can buy it. Go ahead. Go nuts.
But I do find it refreshing because once I realized, oh yeah, it's a co-op game, then I kind of chilled out a little bit.
Yeah, because like I was
giving you all my cards, and I was sacrificing my cards for you.
I find the co-op you do start feeling the advantages of co-op the later the game goes in there.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning there's no villains are coming out, or no super villains coming out, so you're like, whatever. And I guess the way the deck the deck shuffled, the super villains are spaced out, but the villains could be anywhere. but we didn't get villains in the beginning. So
No.
we were just getting it was like Boxing Day shopping or Black Friday shopping for you Americans. So it was just like we were just going around window shopping. Like, I'll buy this, I'll buy this, I'll buy this. This goes go with my boots. Done, right? And but yeah, we had it easy. So we're like, I don't see the big deal. And then the villains started showing up. We're like, okay, we gotta stop him. You stand on him to not let him go. Chris, you stand on him, but you're gonna let him go. So. But
It's the cave, man.
we were like we were
Cave.
assisting each other. It's like, okay, Chris needed to he wanted to get a card and needs to get away from this villain. So I was like, Chris, I can give you a point to help you buy that card because I have an assist. Like Brittany, I need help. I need to get out of here. I can give you this ability to help you fly out of there. Like, so that was nice. So you start really feeling the co-op there, but it's important to communicate, right?
Yeah,
So-
we're constantly talking to each other the whole time.
So you got to really get out of the bad habits that you have of playing just the DC deck building.
Don't
Like-
follow in my footsteps.
So you got to be like, I am short like 1 power or 2 power.
Yeah.
Like, those are reasonable requests. So, like, if you think it's possible somebody else has it, just ask. Be like, can anybody assist me with this 1 power I'm
Yeah.
missing? Can anybody assist me with getting out of here? Because Doomsday's going to trounce all over my face. Actually, he doesn't do anything to people. He just does things to locations. But
Yeah.
you get an idea. Like, I don't want to be
And
near
who
this
saved
villain.
the day?
I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't there.
Mhm.
Doomsday saved the day?
No, I said, and who saved the day?
Oh, we know what you said.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It was
I
my
saved
cave.
the day.
It was my cave.
I
He was
saved the
in.
day. Thank you very much. After you
Um,
went all shiny.
It's my cave.
Okay. So we like the co-op aspect. I guess that's
Yeah,
an
I
overall
do.
co-op aspect. We like. We haven't played competitive.
I think I would like that too.
I don't know if I even want to play this game competitive because there's so much DC deck building games. Like we have so many expansions. I'll just play those. So I don't know if I want to play this. Like maybe if you're curious to be like, what's it like?
I think I could see us playing it if we traveled with this and we only had 3 games to pick from and maybe we wanted to try it out.
Because most of our games are competitive.
Most of our games are competitive, so I don't see us actually playing it competitive either. We just don't have enough time to play all the games that we want to play.
Yeah. All right. Next. Okay. So now I've been saving these ones for you.
Ooh.
Did you feel like the heroes you were playing with? Like you were Batman. Did you feel like Batman while you were playing this? You were Superman. Did you feel like Superman? I'm Simon Bass. I don't even know what Simon Bass is, but
It took me, but I started getting it because I started really focusing on some of the equipment that Batman has. And also I was like, ooh, I'm getting little bonuses with this and that. And it kind of started working out because if you notice my deck started changing that way. I did kind of enjoy that. So I'm still getting into it, but yeah, I kind of started focusing on that and started kind of getting into the character a little bit. They came to the back cave. They messed it up, but they came.
all right, Britt, what do you think?
I don't know that I truly feel because we haven't played this with other characters. I don't know if I'm feeling the powers because of the person I'm playing. Because really, Superman's special ability is 1 during each of your turns plus 1 power for each villain on your space. So yeah, I feel powerful when the villain's on my space, but all my other cards, they're the same as if anybody, like I don't feel his speed. I don't feel like he's flying. I could have bought all those cards anyways, even if I was someone else. So I don't know. Am I enjoying it? Yes. Am I consumed by it? No.
Yeah, and keep in mind, like this is our first playthrough, right? So this is
Yeah.
this isn't like a full.
This isn't
like,
a full review because we would have to play it a couple times if we were gonna do this.
But it's again it's a first impressions thing. But I'm with Brittany where I didn't feel like, even though I don't know who Simon Baz is, I didn't feel like any Green Lantern. Because I have like a flight card, which is a Superman card, which is okay because Green Lanterns fly, but Batman could have gotten that card.
Yeah.
But I could argue that he's got his jet, right?
I want to say there's probably more equipment and stuff out for Batman because like 2 of them right there, those are Batman.
But that's the thing. But anybody could build
Yeah.
that, so like
Yeah.
anybody could get it. And I get it. Like it's a deck building thing, but I don't feel like Green Lantern. I feel like I could play the same way with anybody. Like if those cards are accessible, I could just buy a flight card. I could buy this, and I'm like, oh, I built my deck just like Superman or like Green Lantern, but his special ability is different,
Mhm.
and that's it. So, and I also, as far as like that goes, I don't buy into the theme of the game, the story that the game is selling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't. That doesn't. It doesn't suck me in. It's just mechanics that I'm trying to stop.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to get. It was like, ooh, that villain. Like, I don't look at it like, oh my God, it's General Zod. He's gonna mess me up. I look at it as more like, oh my God, it's a number 11. That number 11 is
Yeah.
gonna mess me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like
And
I'm
it's
playing.
moving towards its location, and
Yeah.
oh no, I don't have enough.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God, how do I score? How do I
that's-
beat an
I'm
11?
actually only looking at the numbers. I'm not even reading.
Yeah. Which,
Well, I am
like you
reading
said,
the villain cards when we need to, but that's not. I'm not worried about the villain.
Like, I
cards.
feel like I'm gonna kick into legendary mode, Marvel Legendary, which is it's one of our favorite games. We love Marvel Legendary. And I know I've heard some podcasts where they're not fans.
Really?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I love.
I think they're playing it wrong or with the wrong group.
Mm.
Like, we totally, because I think your group really affects
yeah,
how you enjoy a game.
that's what
But-
I'm thinking.
But in Marvel Legendary, you randomize how it works, and I found you can't mix too much expansions because then you just get slaughtered or just doesn't. Not even the story.
You don't have the right power.
But what's funny though is Marvel Legendary. You set up these scenarios, and then like you pick a random villain, and he's trying to pull off this scheme, and you've got this
Yeah.
crew of heroes to get them, and it's so random, right? It could be like the most like messed up crew of heroes to beat Galactus because he wants to rob a bank. Like, why does Galactus want to rob a bank? It doesn't matter. But it's like you can even wrap a story around that. It feels like even it's a silly story, right? Like, you know, or Galactus needs some pocket change because he wants to go to the arcade in Earth. You know, Earth's got a great arcade. So, but whatever, you can make a story, and I feel like I'm in that story. I feel like I'm fighting Galactus, or I'm fighting like whoever the villain is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like I am.
I kind of get consumed
Actually-
in that game.
With
I don't.
any of the DC games, I don't feel that, and especially because in the base version, you actually have villains on your team too. Like because in the base, when you kill the villains in the regular or you buy them, you get them in your deck. Here you don't, so it's kind of like just kind of all over the place. It's just a collection of cards that are themed with DC, but I don't really feels it pushes the DC story. It doesn't
Mhm.
envelop me.
Kyle mentioned that most of these card games always end up with this weirdly abstracted execution of the theme. Even Lord of the Rings and Arkham Horror, which have great themes, take some leaps of character faith.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. If we played other games, right? I'd say that also fits.
Yeah.
The was one comment I wanted to make before we carry on to the last thing I wanted to say. I drew a total blank.
Oh,
It's okay.
back to it.
It doesn't matter. If it comes up, I'll bring it. But anyways, so my last one in the gameplay area is how is this different from the original deck building game? Now, I've mentioned some things. I've made notes. So I made notes. I know I made these notes before I played because I based this on the rule book. So, well, the fact that you have these characters and you're moving around the board, that's completely different. So if you play the DC deck building game, you know you're not just buying anything. You actually have to move to a location to buy it. Oops, sorry about that.
Just careful you're knocking the table.
Okay. All right. Next is the lineups. So in the original DC deck building game, if I remember correctly, it's been a while. The lineup is like 5 or 6 cards, whatever amount of cards is on the lineup, and then you always fill it up to that amount. Like it always maxes out. But it can get really big. Like you can get cards, but then when it gets big, you don't fill it up because it's already past its max, right? It can get big. This, you're always putting one card down, and they just kind of stack. So it gets a little messy. So that's different. The threat track, this thing is very different. So that's a huge change. The fact that every time a supervillain comes up, increases the threat level, and that changes the game dynamics. So things get scarier.
Mhm.
And what else do I have on here? The assists, as we mentioned, there's the cards that you can play on other people's turns, and they assist other people. So that is new. There's also, when you start your game in the original, you get weakness. No, you don't get weaknesses. Sorry, you get vulnerabilities, which are like weaknesses, which are like dead cards, except weaknesses are minus points. That's Hitch scratching himself. If you hear a jingle, that's our dog's collar.
It's Santa Claus.
So that's different too. Is you don't get any negative cards when you start this, because when you start the original, you get vulnerabilities and the cards worth 0. They're just dead cards in your hand. They try to get rid of. This one, you don't get any bad cards.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Weakness cards.
No, you don't get them in your starting hand.
Oh,
A
I
card
see
has to
that.
give them to you. You do not get them in your starting hand.
Did like that.
And there's the scenarios, which is hugely different, which I mentioned. The mysteries, I don't know what's in here. And then there's also the signature cards, which are like, this is a card that only Batman can get and only Batman will get. So that's nice because it seems like it's an extension of their superheroes' abilities on their card, right?
Mm.
Because it's like, it's more special things that my guy can do, and those cards you can take with you. And the fact that there's a campaign and there's locations, locations is also different. You know, taking damage, there's none of that. Because the original is more like, it's a lineup of cards, you buy cards, and you can harm other people by playing cards. You also get the villains. In this game, you don't get the villains. So that's the general gist of what's different. Any comments in the gameplay section? We're good. All right. Now, if anybody's got any comments here, now I know there's some lag, so I'm going to do some talking to give you guys a chance. I'm going to put this question up front. Are there any, if we're going to get expansions for this, are there any specific expansions or storylines you would like to see implemented in the deck building Rebirth, DC deck building game Rebirth? Now, for me, you guys don't read comics. You guys watch comic book movies and you like comic book heroes. But you guys don't necessarily read the comic books. Now I do.
Like most of the population, yeah, we will read it,
But I don't.
you guys get to.
I haven't read like new DC stuff in a while. Like I'm just kind of all over the place from comic books. There was a point where I was up to date on everything, and then I fell behind, and I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna read whatever stories I want. Right? So I read the New 52 when it was new. And then that was a big rewrite of the universe. So now Rebirth is another like kind of rewriting of that universe. And I haven't read that, so I don't know. But if they're okay with bringing back old stories, then you could bring back any of the crises. In the original DC deck building game, my favorite thing to do is play the Crisis expansions. The Crisis expansions for that make that game a co-op game, and they have like what's it called? I can't remember what they're called. Like Final Darkness or Darkest Night. I think that's it. And that one was really cool. Like I really like those, and those get hard, and that's a good challenge. Where the gameplay is the same, but you have villains that you have to kind of work together to defeat. That was really cool. So what I'd like to see is the expansions that we already have for the DC deck building game translated to this with like hidden scenarios, and I think that would be I think that would be cool. So that's what I'd like to see. Hey, yeah.
Yep. So we have Birds of Prey
Oh, yes,
and Young Justice,
yes. So that we're adding a lot of new characters. I see.
Super Sons,
Okay, I don't know Super Sons. What's Super Sons? I'll give you some time to answer that since there's a lag.
and then someone was just mentioning that they consume what Disney or Warner Brothers feeds them.
Okay. Oh,
You are not alone, my friend.
Yeah.
you know what? That reminded me of the Red Sun, the story where, it's like that Elseworld story where what happened if Superman landed in Russia and he was raised by the Russians, and then there was like a Russian Batman, Russian Wonder Woman. That was an awesome storyline. That would be cool if you could implement that. You'd have to expand on it because it's a short story, so you'd have to expand on it. But that would be awesome. Like just give me Russian Flash and Russian Dr. Fate and Russian Luthor. Like actually, I don't even remember who the villain was in Red Sun, but because I haven't read that story. I remember it was really good. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, that would be cool. I'd like to see Red Sun. All right.
So Dustin says it's Superboy and Damian Wayne.
Gotcha. Okay. Those the Psycho and the revamped cool Superboy. Because when I started reading about Connor, that's Superboy by the way. It was true when, like, after Superman's death is when that super version of Superboy showed up, and then he looks totally different. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the same Superboy, like that's where he started, and then he got a lot cooler. I think he looks completely different, but I'm pretty sure it's the same Superboy. But they redrew him. He looks a lot cooler. His personality is completely different, but I like him a lot better now. Okay, so that's good. All right, so now replayability. I'm gonna actually, you know what, Chris, replayability for this. What do you think?
Well, I guess do you mean like going to the next campaign,
Oh,
or are
just-
you talking like finishing the campaign
The whole game.
and then replaying?
Well, that's the thing with the campaign game, because
Yeah,
what I was
it's a different ball.
gonna say
Whole different thing.
was because replayability is a little different. I think when you're thinking campaign games, because like if you're thinking of like going through the entire campaign, like I do want to replay this because I want to finish the campaign.
Yes, I agree.
It's like the zombie side games. Like we
Yep.
play them when we finish the campaign,
Oh, yeah.
but usually we don't go back. We replay things if we're introducing new players. So we might come back to this if we're introducing new players. But if it's just us, I honestly see us playing this once and then not going back to it again.
Mhm.
So like, but if other people want to try it, then we play with them. We'd start probably at scenario 1 or scenario 2, whatever we think is like the good learning place.
Although I do think it's a good travel game. So we might find ourselves traveling with it and playing through the campaign. But then I don't know.
We have so many games.
We
Like,
have so many games.
it's not like we're limited to this. Like, I'm gonna get on the stuff we haven't even played. Like, I don't know if you guys can see. You can't see our
A
videos.
lot of them are
Okay, so we have Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. We haven't played it. We have like 3 boxes of
all
it.
of their expansions.
Call to Adventure we have. But we haven't played the expansion of it that's coming.
Oh yeah.
We have Too Many Bones Undertow. Haven't played that. We have the expansion to Quack's Quickenberg. Haven't played that. Dinosaur Island. We haven't played that. Villains. We haven't played that. Crusader Kings. We haven't played that. Ethos. We haven't played
Oh
that.
my gosh, stop. You're
It
making
never.
me depressed.
It doesn't end.
And we haven't even got to where all the board games are.
Yeah, that's just what we store out here, which is nothing. So we're behind. So replayability in this house, I think the most it could hope for is getting through the campaign.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
I agree.
But you know, if you are,
That doesn't say anything about the game.
No.
It's just the fact. That
but if you are someone who doesn't have a lot of games and this is the game you're going to play, I think if you do play this again, it would be a different experience because you'd get different heroes. You could try because we're going to play this through the whole same heroes, right? So we're going to get different heroes. You're going to get different cards. You're going to build your deck differently. You're going to. So I think there is a replayability on that level, right? So I think I'd say there is replayability definitely. For us, we won't replay it.
So there's a question.
Okay.
So Jeffrey wants to know, does that mean that Board Game Coffee will be doing more live plays to work through their library?
Yes.
yeah.
That's a good question,
Good question.
Mr. Psychic.
Yes,
Uh,
they're working towards that
Yes, we
on
are.
a regular basis.
So
So
Doing
here's
some
the deal.
mechanics.
so close.
What we've learned about live feeds is that a 1 hour or 2 hour live feed, get this, only takes 1 or 2 hours to do, and then it's done.
And they're fun. And
Yeah,
we
they're
get
fun
to
to
chat
do.
with you
Yeah, we
live.
get to talk to you live, so we like to do that. Right?
Yeah.
But when we do our reviews, that's like we have to play the game multiple times.
Yeah.
We have to write a script. We have to record all the lines. We have to record all the B-roll, and we have to edit. We have to find music. All that just takes days
Yeah.
to do. Where this will be up, and most I have to do is I'll make a thumbnail for it and done, right? And that's it, which is great. So that buys us time to do the reviews, so we're not racing through them. So we do more reviews, more how to plays. Unboxings we do when they come out.
Yep.
They don't take so long, but they still take a
They
bit of
still
time.
take time.
We're also playing with the idea of doing live unboxings once we get our system set up, but we don't know for sure.
We don't
No
know if
promises.
we're there yet.
That was like
That's
pie-
too soon.
pie in the sky.
Too soon.
But yeah, we want to do that. And if you see this beautiful red table that Chris has constructed for us, actually the top part was both me and Chris. Chris did the frame.
It's got all the pieces ready and he helped me put it together.
Hey, I designed it.
Yeah, you designed it. That's what I'm saying.
Anyways, so this table currently has no legs, so it's wobbly. I don't know if you can make that on camera. It's a very wobbly table. Now, our playthroughs, we have cameras everywhere, but they're all attached to the table.
And we're building the table.
So
So
look, actually kind of cool.
this table has no legs currently. It's sitting on another table.
Which is why every time Mark moves, the camera moves.
So
That will not be irregular.
yeah, it might not be as noticeable on this camera, but it is when everything else is present. Chris wants to show off his
Okay.
little toy.
Sneak peek.
So these things,
Are custom made.
Yes.
these are our cameras. So we have multiples
These
of
actually,
these. These latch to the table.
Cool.
So
so
Yeah.
actually lock onto the table. and
Yeah,
then
they lock onto the table, and then we can move them around, and those arms are posable. And then basically the idea is there's going to be a camera on the person here, the camera on me, camera on that person, camera on that person, camera on the board, camera in the distance to see everything. We might actually increase to 2 cameras on the board. We have this little switchboard thing to switch camera views on the fly so we can do it live.
So many cool things.
So many cool things. So all that is coming, and we hope to take some of the more action-packed games, like figure out what the right games to do live are, and then we're going to do those. And we'll probably record some that are pre-recorded that we edit later for YouTube, because games that have a lot of analysis paralysis, we don't want to have those live, because we don't want a table full of silent people just doing math in their heads.
Like, you will never see us play Gaia Project
or Terraforming
or
Mars.
Terraforming Mars.
And
We love those games.
Oh.
We will never play those
Mind you,
live.
No, not live, but we could record them.
We could record
and
them
then edit
and
them,
then edit.
and then like a 3-hour game would be like 20 minutes.
And then you'd see me,
Because we would cut out all the thinking.
and then you'd see me flip the table at the very end because I've lost Terraforming Mars again. I will beat you one day, and then we never play again.
It's true. I believe that.
That day will come.
All right. Okay, so the price point. Let's discuss the price point of Rebirth. So Rebirth's an interesting thing. Now, I don't know how it is in the States, but first of all, let me tell you this. The prices I've checked at that seems to be the 2 standard sites that like the Dice Tower checks and a lot of other podcasts and video channels check are for Canadian purchasers or Canadian consumers. It's $41.95 at Board Game Bliss, which is pretty decent. For you Americans out there, it's $35.99 at Cool Stuff Inc. It's actually cheaper for us because if you convert $35.99 American to Canadian, it's like 47 and change. So we're paying 41. So we actually pay like, $41.95. So it's like a little more than $5 cheaper for us to buy this. But here's the thing. I've seen this game from anywhere from $40 to like, it was like $65 or $69.
Mm-hmm.
Huge swings.
It hurts me when I see that.
Yeah.
So like we picked this up from 401 Games in Toronto, and there was a 10% discount, so we got it for like $40 or $41 or something like after tax. So we got a great deal on it there. Next, so that's the price point. Next is
It's reasonable.
we got only 2 questions left. We're wrapping this up. Chris, did you enjoy this game?
I did. Took me a bit to get rolling, and again, just the mass, like I said, kind of confusion with it. But now it's starting to settle down. I'm getting it, and I took it some villains. I want to take it some super villains now. I did. I want to keep going. I'd love to go through the campaign. I think that'd be neat. But like you said, our time span, I don't know if we'll ever continue on playing this.
Yeah.
Because there's so many.
Yeah.
Others,
But I love the fact there's campaign. I do enjoy it. And now what it does is it wants me to continue on to get those other cards.
Mhm.
And go.
I do want to. I don't even know what signature cards are because they tell
I
you
know.
like get signature card 1, 2, or 3. They tell you specifically what to get. So I'll figure that out when we get it. Britt.
Yeah. So I think what keeps me interested in this version of the game is the campaign, because I want to see what comes through at each campaign. Now this is at first impression, so we have not finished the game, so this is not a full review, but I think it's okay. I think it's an okay game. I'm starting to get the engine going. I like the fact that my cards are starting to stack. I enjoy that, but it's okay for me. I think we have a lot of really great games, and this is an okay game that I would play, but I don't know that I would be like, let's play this, and like, can't wait to get home and play it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, for me,
It's almost like a filler game.
I'm curious to know what's in here, right? And that curiosity is going to I'm going to be asking you guys, let's play this. Like after we finish this live, we're going to continue playing.
Yeah.
And because I want to know what's in these. So my curiosity wants me to keep playing. But honestly, I thought the beginning of this game, it was slow, but also we're learning. We were learning, getting used to the cards. But for the longest time, I didn't feel that. I feel like I was just going through the motions, building this deck. I didn't really, what am I building toward? Like in the first one, like the basic DC deck building game, I'm building toward destroying the person across the table from me. When the expansions came out, like Darkest Night, or I think that's what it's called, I can't remember, or any of the expansions where it made it a co-op, it was instantly like, here's a villain, we have to work together, get these cards, defeat that villain. This one was slow, right? It's like you're going to jog and you're kind of working your way up to a run.
Yeah.
So not until just before we hit play did I beat General Zod, and that was my highlight. Just before that, Brittany bet Doomsday. So it's starting to pick up, right? Like,
yeah, it's starting to pick up now.
it's starting
and
to
I
pick
feel
up
like
just
maybe-
before we started the live. So I think it has good potential because, we already got to the point where Chris screwed up, which that's the key point in the game. That has to happen at
You
least
gotta have,
once.
it's
You
like
gotta
every
have
movie. You
Clovis.
gotta have the. I was gonna say the pinnacle moment in the movie, but the Clovis, fine. That's what you
Yeah,
want
if
to
you
call it.
watched, I know we've explained that story before where Chris was the Clovis character in Zombie Side. and
I think that was in your
he totally
zombie side unboxing.
he
You
totally
put
s-
index
No,
that.
I think it might have been the live. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was live. It was live.
We'll figure it out.
We need to make its standalone
We'll
video
explain
so we
the
can
we'll
reference
explain
that.
the Clovis story.
We have to make a standalone video on it.
Why
yes.
Clovis?
So,
Um,
but that it started to pick up. Like when I beat General Zod, it was one of those like, Chris, I need you to make me pick up a card. Chris, I need to pick up a card. Make me pick up a card. Britt, can you help me? I was like, okay, because I have a chance to beat him, but I have to
yeah,
pick up the
I
right
did like
cards.
that face.
And I picked up the discount card, which was what I needed, which is I have this card that basically makes supervillains 2 less to kill. And I pulled it as my last card, and I got just the exact amount to beat him. Because he's an 11. With my discount, he's a 9. And I pulled out that card, and he was like, perfectly 9. And I was like, yes. So that was a good moment. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a good, I want more of those, right?
Mhm.
I want more of those tense moments. This has got a bit of the victory. I think it lacks a bit of the tense. I don't necessarily feel tense when they're getting closer to area because it's easy to stop them. I'm just like, I'm just going to stand on your face and you don't move. And your attack, some of the villains' attacks are like, discard a hero card. I don't have any hero cards. So the person who has no hero cards just stand on his face, right? And it's done.
Mhm.
So it's not a huge threat. Anyways, do I like the game? I think the game is okay right now. At the moment, it's my least favorite of the deck building game series, of the DC deck building game series. It's my least favorite. But there's potential in here. There's potential in these black boxes and black bags to be good. But right now, at this pace, I need to see what's in here. It's not as good as the co-op expansions that for just the basic game. So I'd rather play those right now,
Mhm.
as is.
Mhm.
But I don't know what's in this secret card. I don't know what's this. So I'm going to keep playing this.
And we're on 2 super villains out of 5 right now.
Yeah, so we're really,
Yeah, we've still got a lot of
really
game
early in
left.
the game.
Really.
So this is early impressions.
I do think that if someone's looking for co-op games though to play with people, this would be an okay choice.
But I'm going to say if you're going to play a co-op game and you don't have Marvel Legendary already, choose Marvel Legendary.
I 100% agree with you.
And yeah, and also
I 100% agree.
yeah, Marvel Legendary is a lot of fun. Every time I teach people Marvel Legendary, I teach them Marvel Legendary and teach them this. I did you the same night. I was
Yeah.
like, here's DC, here's Marvel Legendary. The same thing with Brit. Here's DC, here's Marvel
We
Legendary.
must have played that every day for like at least a month when we were first started playing board games together.
Yeah, and
So true.
so yeah, and everybody always says the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, I like both, but I like Legendary better. I feel like I'm
Well-
in the story more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but we're not here talking about Legendary. We're talking about Rebirth. I'm having a good time.
Yes. And for the price point, like you were saying, that's a decent price point. Like it's a fun little game to take out. It doesn't not
Yeah.
break in the bank.
It's easy
Why not
to
try
learn.
something new? And yeah, like easy to learn.
Yeah. Okay,
So there are some I can't talk.
bring it.
There are some suggestions about our cameras.
Okay, hit
So
it.
it says you need the Vegas Poker hand cam for card games. I don't even know what that is. Or where you would get them.
Right there, so you can see. You're talking about the Vegas where you're doing
Yeah,
the cameras and you
I think so.
and they can see what's going. Oh,
That would be.
Just so you know, right now, our camera count is at 6. Our plan is for 7. So we have, because and when we do our live feeds, we have a 4th, which we've mentioned before, Jessica, who's not here. She's not present and she's waiting. She keeps asking. We have these chairs that we're sitting in. We have 4 of them, and we're gonna get names embroidered on these or like covers. And so it's gonna see Mark, Britt, Chris, and Jess, or Brittany and Jessica, whatever you guys want. But so we're going to see the 4 of us. And so she's going to be a regular part of our live gameplay crew.
Yep.
And she's great. You'll love her. She's a great addition to the team.
And then
She's
she's saying
interesting.
I'm competitive.
oh,
She's quiet but deadly.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Don't.
Oh,
Jessica would be there the whole
quiet
time
the whole
and be
game.
like,
And then she will take everyone down
I
and drop the mic and walk away.
she's just like, I just burnt down your family cottage. Thank you.
So maybe and my memory is terrible today, and clearly I can't speak. So someone had mentioned do an EVP session. Do you know what that means?
An EVP session?
Yeah.
Like it could mean a few things.
I wasn't sure that. Yeah.
EVP like everyone versus player?
Oh, maybe.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what they meant.
Because here's the thing.
I know what you're going on.
And I'm gonna tell him.
You gonna tell him?
I'm gonna tell him.
What?
I'm gonna tell him.
He's gonna tell him.
Well, you know.
I don't know.
You know.
No.
You know.
Chris,
Now that
whisper in
I
your
got-
ear. Whisper in your ear.
Oh.
See?
It's too soon. Don't mention it.
No, because it's again. We're gonna try to
You're
do
giving
it.
away it all too soon.
No,
and
we're
then
gonna-
it's like, when will we have time? Secret time. Team battle. Someone totally just called you out.
No.
So funny.
I think we'll just tell you guys. You know what? Because this is what we want to do.
No, don't do it. It's too soon.
Okay, you know what? Here to satisfy Britt,
Oh.
we are going to do.
Oh.
We have a format that has been planned for a long time, but we need our playthrough table.
We need
Chris.
to make sure we have.
We need our playthrough table done and our camera set up, and to do that properly. We have all the equipment. We have all the pieces. We just need to
We're
put it
so
together.
close.
But anyways, we have a plan that we really like, or at least I really
Stay
like.
tuned.
That we want to do for this, and it's going to be cool. And Brittany won't let me.
No.
Brittany won't let me tell you.
No.
I really want to tell you.
It's so good. You'll appreciate that we waited.
I'm.
Now they're all gonna be like hate bailing me. Get this done, Chris. Go, go, go.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Can you get him to
Yeah,
get the
could you
table
get
done so
get
you
Chris-
can get more
They
awesome
have to-
things?
I have no idea what's involved. Like I'm working on.
Come on.
Work harder, Chris.
We've got the top done.
Yeah.
You've got the legs
I
done.
got the legs done now.
You've got the frame done, don't you?
Yes, but now
So you
we're
gotta just
looking-
put them together.
Now we're looking.
Right?
What's the problem?
Easy,
This is like-
Chris.
I
You
can
built
put
a basement. You can build a table.
it's like, well, I kind of want the legs to detach so I can move it. I kind of want the legs to maybe just adjust.
No, screw with the legs.
Because
We get them.
They always add stuff. That's what I mean. You don't understand. I've already made. They always do.
There's a whole Chris thread now. Chris, get on it. Chris, random stranger here. Chop, chop.
Yeah.
Stop giving him booze. We should. You know what? We should only feed him when he gets stuff done. No more food for you.
What? The?
I don't feed you anyways.
Could grab that camera. Look around.
You're like, what food, Brittany? You don't cook. It's true, I don't.
All right. So
I'm learning.
that is it. Unless there's last minute questions, that's it. But we'd like to do live feeds. But the way
Yeah.
we're gonna do our live feeds too, as well as we're not gonna do it like our first playthrough, because last thing I want to do on a live feed is play through and being like, hold on. What happens if this happens? Well, like BGG. You guys sit tight for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
get-
that's not
I'll
fun
get
for anyone.
No.
It's not even
So
fun
we're
when it
gonna have a
happens
few
to us.
playthroughs and go through. So that's the plan for the live feed. Once we get the table done. So if we could start a thread or something
Yeah.
for Chris to get Chris.
Yeah, be
I gotta
creative.
go and
Chris,
work
get the
and like
table done.
circle.
That'd be great.
You need Chris shirts.
Chris shirts. Chris,
Get
get
on
the
it,
table
Chris.
done. Get the table done. Okay, so that's it.
Chris
That is
plus
all.
hammer.
I like to
equals
remind you, if you guys aren't already subscribed, if you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything we're doing. And we're gonna do more live stuff. We want to do more. We need the table, but we're gonna do more, and we want to do more. We
Yeah,
want to do more
we do.
stuff.
And I want you to tell them what you were
We're
going to
so
do.
So
close.
close.
We're so close. So subscribe, and then you'll get all that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Oh,
great.
and hit the bell so you get the alerts when we have new
Oh, yeah.
content.
That's right. The bell.
Mhm.
I forget about the bell. Okay.
So thank you for hanging
Yeah.
out with us.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to continue playing this. And oh, you know what? If anybody has any suggestions, because you know what I really liked? I liked when we did our live of like Funko versus Unmatched.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, like we did a comparison video.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that again, but with what? Like we could have done this in Legendary. The only reason I didn't do that is because we haven't played Legendary in so long.
Yeah, we haven't.
It's been a
And,
long
and
time.
this is our first run.
Yeah, we just played this. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
we
wasn't
haven't
fair to
finished
this.
one session yet.
So, but yeah, if there's any other special type of video, like either versus videos or things, like we can't do everything because we don't have everything, and certain games we don't have enough time to play, like before our next video. So, but any suggestion we could get to eventually, right? So, if there's any segments or anything you'd like us to do or to cover, let us know.
Mhm.
I got land, Heroes, Land, Air, and Sea versus Hate.
Oh my gosh.
What is, that's the worst.
That's the worst.
We would end
We'll
up.
see you next January.
Yeah, that's like
We'll
yeah.
still be playing.
January
Yeah, yeah.
2021.
The table you built is too small.
January
Bigger table.
2021, we will do Hate versus Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Because both those take forever.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're huge.
Well, if you
Huge.
think of any, put it in the comments below.
Yeah, any
We can
anything.
check it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be today. If you think about it tomorrow, come back to the video and
That's that.
pop it in there and let us know.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Hold on, we gotta say something else.
Oh,
Have
have
fun.
fun.
Keep
Keep
gaming.
gaming.
Be social.
See you soon.
See you next week.